The galaxy mocked Earth, called us nothing but dirt walkers and seed planters, farmers. They laughed at our lack of war fleets, our primitive colonies, our simple tools. But they didn't see what we were really growing, beneath the soil, under the oceans, deep in our hidden vaults. When the harvest ships rose, colossal and brimming with living weapons, the Council's laughter died, and the universe learned why you never underestimate a species that feeds the land before it feeds itself. The council chambers were a cathedral of light and arrogance, gleaming spires of crystal glass, adorned with banners of 1,000 alien empires. From the upper tiers, representatives whispered and snickered as the human delegation approached the central dais. Earth's ambassador, a tall man in simple agricultural garb, sturdy boots, plain shirt, and a coat the color of fertile soil, stood calm amid the glittering spectacle. He carried no weapons, no ceremonial staff, no glimmering adornments. Only a small satchel of seeds hung from his shoulder. "You humans," rasped the Grand Speaker, a creature of shimmering scales and 4 luminous eyes, "are quaint, still tilling soil while the rest of us bend stars to our will. What do you hope to gain by requesting planetary charters for farms?" A ripple of laughter rolled through the chamber, high-pitched, guttural, metallic, each species expressing its scorn in its own way. The ambassador remained still, his gaze unflinching. "We hope," he said softly, "to feed the future." The chamber erupted with louder laughter. The Grand Speaker leaned forward, his lips curling into a razor-sharp grin. "Feed the future? You've brought no fleets, no weapons, no orbital defenses. Your world is bare of planetary shields. And yet you expect to claim territory in contested sectors." "We expect," the ambassador replied, "nothing you are unwilling to give. But we will take what we need if we must." The chamber grew colder. The laughter quieted, replaced by curiosity, even unease. Still, the speaker scoffed. "Take? You? Humans? Your ships are tractors. Your drones harvesters. Your colonies grow weeds while others mine worlds to their cores. What makes you think you can stand against civilizations 1,000,000 years your senior?" The ambassador reached into his satchel. Every eye followed the motion, expecting a weapon, a data crystal, a bargaining chip. Instead, he withdrew a single seed, small, black, unremarkable. He held it between 2 fingers. "Because," he said, "we plant things." The chamber burst again with laughter, echoing across crystal walls. Delegates pounded tables, some coughing out alien equivalents of tears. Even the speaker couldn't contain his amusement. "You came here," the speaker wheezed, "to show us seeds?" The ambassador smiled faintly. "You'll see soon enough." Days later, on a remote observation station orbiting a barren world, the first harvest ship rose from Earth's soil. It was unlike any vessel the galaxy had seen. Nearly 2 kilometers long, its hull shimmered with a living, organic sheen, scales that pulsed faintly with light like the breathing of some titanic beast. Massive root-like structures extended downwards, anchoring the ship to the earth far below, until they retracted with a sound like tearing mountains. From its bow, spore cannons unfurled, their openings lined with glistening, iridescent membranes. The air around the craft seemed alive, charged with the hum of energy drawn from deep planetary reserves. A second ship rose, then a third, then 20, then 50. Within an hour, a fleet blotted out the sun. In the council chambers, feeds streamed the impossible sight, agriculture-borne vessels, each one a fusion of biotechnology and engineered ecosystems, capable of sprouting forests of defensive spines, launching pollen swarms that disrupted enemy sensors, and releasing clouds of seed-like drones, each one a self-replicating weapon. The laughter had stopped. "Impossible," hissed the speaker, his voice quivering for the first time. "You grew these ships in your soil." "In our soil," the ambassador said, watching the hollow feeds as calmly as a man admiring a sunrise. "In our oceans, in our mountains, even in the ice of our poles. We feed the land, and it feeds us back." One of the insectoid delegates, its mandibles chattering nervously, whispered, "But these are warships." "Harvest ships," the ambassador corrected. "And what we harvest depends on what we're fed." When the first fleet of raiders arrived to test Earth's claim to the contested sectors, the galaxy witnessed what humans had been growing in secret. The battle was swift, brutal, and entirely one-sided. The harvest ships released clouds of metallic spores that spread across the vacuum, embedding themselves into enemy hulls, sprouting jagged roots that split alloy like soft bark. Vines of carbon fiber whipped outward from the ships, latching onto hostile vessels and draining their power cells dry, leaving them drifting lifeless before detonating from within. Alien fleets, some with centuries of combat dominance, fled before Earth's living war machines. Not because of the firepower, but because of the way the ships moved, like predators circling prey, learning, adapting, evolving mid-battle. Back in the council chambers, silence ruled. The ambassador stood in the center once more, this time not as a petitioner, but as a sovereign power. "No more laughter?" he asked softly, looking from one trembling delegate to another. The Grand Speaker could not meet his gaze. "We thought you were farmers," whispered one of the avian diplomats. "We are," the ambassador said, setting the same black seat upon the crystal dais. "But farmers know, before you take a harvest, you feed the ground. And Earth has been feeding the ground for a very, very long time." The seed pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. And across the galaxy, planets rich in life, planets long neglected, suddenly seemed less like territory to conquer, and more like fields waiting for the hands of farmers who had just changed the balance of power forever.